Okay, everybody, I'm gonna try to do this in the airport, but I have to keep my mask on. When I was a kid, if you asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, the answer was, well, it was a lot of things when I was little. But as an older teen and going into my college years, I would tell you that I wanted to be a writer. I didn't know what kind of writer, but I knew that I loved putting words together to describe something or tell a story. And I wanted to keep doing that. So the summer between my first and second years of college, I had a job as an assistant to a real live writer, a man who writes coffee table books, of all things. Now, I was pretty sure that was not the kind of writing that I wanted to do, but somebody has to write coffee table books, and I figured I could learn something about what it was like to be a writer, and that experience would help me narrow down the scope of what I wanted that to look like for me. The guy was someone with a rather eclectic set of interests, and he'd written several books before, and I don't know if he would have described it this way, but the overarching theme of his work was really an exploration of social class, how something that's considered exclusive or high class becomes accessible to and adopted by everyone in American culture over time. And the book that we were working on was about the history of Pan American Airways. Pan Am was the first commercial airline in the world. And in the beginning of airline travel, traveling by plane was expensive and it was glamorous. It was thought not to be nothing short of a miracle that one could board a plane and in a matter of hours be in another city or even another country. An ordinary person like you or me couldn't afford a plane ticket at all. And if we could, we would be expected to dress to the nines for our journey and pack trunks full of clothes for every occasion, because we were probably going to stay for a while and make the most of the visit and stay in fancy hotels and eat in fancy restaurants while we were there. And the time on the airplanes and in the airports would be as important as the other parts of our travels, and whatever we did or saw when we got where we were going. Now, airplane travel is not like that now, of course. There are lots of planes going lots of places and lots of kinds of people traveling on them for lots of different reasons. There's no dress code, there's no glamour, there's no expectation that the destination's activities will also be stylish and full of wonder. For most people, even those who don't travel frequently, airplane travel is commonplace. It's a chore. It's maybe even a necessary evil. Just expensive and uncomfortable. We complain about the inconveniences and joke about wishing for a teleportation device. We will never be satisfied. I think it's one of our fundamental human flaws that we have this capacity to make what is miraculous seem ordinary. It's a miracle that we can fly. It is an absolute miracle of faith and science that we can get anywhere in ways that don't require our own physical exertion. And it's a gift to be able to look down at the tops of clouds, or to see the quilt of the countryside laid out below us and pick out landmarks that appear completely different to us when we're on the ground. On one of my flights today, the pilot carefully glided the plane around some building thunderclouds. And I looked out the window and I could see the tip of the wing was just inches away from this wall of roiling cloud. And it was a miracle that we could be that close to such a powerful force. No wonder ancient peoples imagined God as a person sitting up there on a cloud. It is majestic. Finally, we went through a cloud, and the plane was briefly caught in an updraft. And we had that sensation of rising, like when you're on a swing just at the top of the arc, and you feel gravity catch the swing before it catches you, so there's that split second of separation and suspension. And then we were caught again, held by the magic and the power of the plane. Thanks be to God. There is so much that is extraordinary in the world. There are so many gifts, so many everyday miracles that we overlook or we take for granted or complain about. It's human nature to be ambitious, to want more. And I don't think that the wanting is sinful in and of itself. God made us to strive and grow and develop and change. but we have to work to cultivate gratitude alongside our ambition, so that we're able to see God's miracles all around us, even as we think of them as ordinary. We have to remember to thank God for all our gifts, even the ones that seem on the surface like a chore or an inconvenience. And thank God for the small inconveniences, because often they represent obstacles that our ancestors experienced as insurmountable. The ordinary is extraordinary most of the time, if we can just let ourselves see it. Thanks be to God.